Good morning to you. Happy Monday and welcome back to a brand new work week.
Yes, it is 6 o'clock here on your Monday. Hope you enjoyed all of those activities over the weekend. Certainly a lot of sports to keep track of right now. We've got you covered though. And as we head into our week, you had mentioned this would be a nice relief from some of the heat.
Yes, yeah, brutal last week. Felt good starting Friday. Saturday it was pretty decent. Had another front yesterday. Now we're on the quiet side of that system, so we're looking at a little bit of a cooler morning. Rain-free though, for at least today, before things get a little bit more active. Wanted to show you a look at the bigger picture. This is our satellite and our radar, painting that dry picture as high pressure is going to build in for us here on this Monday. And of course, that frontal boundary that moved through yesterday now exiting off the eastern seaboard. In its wake, we have really noticed a cooling trend. Bloomington down by 19 degrees from this time yesterday. Bedford down by 18. Muncie's down by 17. That puts a lot of our numbers now in the 50s here as we wake up on this Monday morning. Right now it is just 51 up in Huntington, Sharpsville down to 55, 56 in Tipton. Over in Hendricks County now, waking up to a temperature of just 55. And over at the airport, we have dropped to 58. And much of the same across the far southern extent of the state. Lots of 50s on the map this morning, including Shelbyville, Rushville, down into Edinburgh, as well as Columbus. So a little bit of a cooler start to the day. Actually going to feel pretty refreshing. And it will be a dry day with lots of sunshine. That will take us back through this afternoon as we achieve a daytime high temperature 74 in Indy, about 10 degrees below average over in Richmond with a high of 72. No severe threat for today, but we're going to ramp that up to a level 1 of 5 for Tuesday, then a level 3 of 5 for severe weather possible as we get into late Wednesday night into the early morning hours on Thursday. So getting a little bit more active there. Of course, we're going to break down the latest timeline, talk potential threats as we head into the work week coming up in your full forecast. It is 6:02 now, and it's time for a check of your traffic this morning as we've been monitoring the city's northeast side. We got that new pavement, of course, fired up there at the I-69, I-465 junction. This is some good news as we continue to see progress being made on this big Clear Path 465 project and that new ramp reopening from 465 East to 69 North. Now we'll take you over to near Allisonville Road as we finally have this ramp that's now back open off of Allisonville onto 465 eastbound. Look at that bigger picture, shows us we are moving smoothly without any delay right now, which is a fantastic way to get our Monday commute started. We'll keep an eye on that though and let you know if we see any issues develop. Guys?
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, another shooting in downtown Indianapolis over the weekend, this one injuring 2 women.
This happened near Meridian and Washington Streets a couple hours after bars and restaurants would have closed. Anna Chalker is live this morning near that scene, sharing more on the investigation. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. This shooting happened just blocks away from many that we have covered here, both along Washington Street and down Meridian, close to the Bar District. And if you're walking around downtown this morning, you're going to see some of the signs of that shooting, like this bullet hole here. There are several that are along some of the businesses down on this intersection. And this happened around 4:30 yesterday morning when police say 2 women were shot and said to be stable. Officers had to establish multiple scenes down this area due to evidence scattered around. And this shooting happened on a night when many were downtown after the Pride festivities or just enjoying the night out. And IMPD says several officers were mixed into this to help with the crowd control. IMPD on scene said no one was taken into custody, but online police reports list a suspect in one offense of aggravated assault, shooting a firearm where people are present. And that report also lists a 16-year-old girl who had been out after those curfew hours. So we have reached out to IMPD for more on this, what that could look like for that person who is involved, but also the suspect information. Now, some people came back out here to Meridian and Washington Street after that crime scene cleared up, not only just to look at what happened out here, but also to share a different type of message. So coming up, we'll share what that one man said when he came out here for several hours just to talk to people about spreading words of peace instead of violence here downtown.
Just kind of a repeat every weekend, and you know that police are certainly getting frustrated. Thanks, Anna.
This morning, we have learned the name of the Owen County Sheriff's deputy that was shot Friday evening. Sergeant Detective Nathan Martin was doing a welfare check on a home in the Texas Pike area. That's when investigators say a 58-year-old man shot at him and other officers. Well, those officers shot back, but it's not clear which deputies fired their weapons.
This is a very serious situation. Anytime that we're putting our uniform on, we know that we're putting ourselves in harm for the public. What we ask now is for the public just to take a moment of silence, say a little bit of prayer for the deputy, and ask for a speedy recovery.
Well, Deputy Martin was taken to a hospital in Indianapolis. He is expected to make a full recovery. Police took the suspect into custody after he eventually surrendered. New this morning, a 62-year-old teacher from Terre Haute was arrested on charges that date back more than 2 decades.
John Lotz is accused of having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old student as he was teaching in Lawrence, Kansas. He was a high school teacher there from 1999 to 2001, and he was in his 30s at the time. Lawrence, Kansas police say they traveled to Terre Haute earlier this month to talk to Lotz about the allegations.
And he was arrested after that interview. He's being held on a $100,000 bond. He's due in court on June 30th for a bond modification hearing.
An investigation is underway in Franklin County after human remains were found. The Sheriff's Department tells us skeletal remains were found Friday in a rural location in the eastern part of the county. Now, a forensic anthropology team from the University of Indianapolis is helping in the investigation. The coroner's office has not yet identified those remains.
Well, for the second time in a little over a week, a young child with autism wandered into a pond.
Yesterday, Kokomo police were able to rescue a 6-year-old boy. Kokomo police tell us the child disappeared on Elk Drive early Sunday morning. Within 20 minutes, officers found that young boy in a retention pond near Beach Walk Lane. Miraculously, they were able to resuscitate him by giving him CPR.
Well, he is now being treated at a hospital in Indianapolis, but it was tragedy just over a week ago with a similar incident of a 6-year-old boy with autism in Plainfield wandering out of his home last Saturday, though sadly he was found dead in a retention pond nearby. Indy's former Republican mayor is trying to make sure he's on November's ballot.
Greg Ballard is running for Indiana's Secretary of State. His campaign team was on the northeast side yesterday collecting signatures. Ballard says his status as an independent attracts voters who don't want to be tied to a party.
He needs just under 37,000 signatures to get on the ballot. He has until July 15th to get all those signatures that he needs before November.
An Indiana Republican convention is coming up this weekend. That's when the GOP will choose their nominee for Secretary of State. Congressional staffer Max Engling is challenging incumbent Diego Morales. He's joined, though, by conservative activist Jamie Reitenauer and Knox County Clerk David Shelton. We will, of course, be at that convention and have complete coverage for you Friday and Saturday from Fort Wayne.
And whoever is selected will face Libertarian nominee Lori Schillings. The party selected her at their convention in the spring. And we also know last weekend, Indiana Democrats chose Bo Bai as their nominee. He gained support from about 60% of the delegates on the first ballot. And this is the biggest statewide race this year in Indiana.
And we take a deeper dive into Bo Bai's nomination on this week's episode of Crossroads Politics. You can see that streaming on demand right now on our WTHR streaming app.